It is a made-for-TV story. An 18-year-old with no high school diploma posing as a doctor, opening his own clinic. When I went to confront Malachi Love Robinson last month, he agreed to an interview, but there was one question he did not want to answer about his previous run-in with the law. Last year, you did make the news when you were found in a pregnant patient's room at St. Mary's. So what happened with that?
Well, here's what I will say, and I really wasn't going to discuss that story, but since you brought it up, I will say this. Allegations and accusations can be as a dagger in the back. I was simply saying, shadowing a physician, there's nothing wrong with that. Whatever the community assumes, and whatever picture they want to paint, it can be beautiful or it can be ugly. It's whatever they want to see. But I will say that there are some instances with the news that have not been done correctly. They have not been corrected. They have not been reconciled. They've been posted out. And it happens with a lot of people. The news comes, they get a little snippet of information, and they blast it. Oh, it's everywhere. Oh, it's everywhere. And it's like, geez, I'm famous. But not for a good reason. And it's detrimental. It's detrimental to a person's character. It's detrimental to a person's business. It's detrimental to their family. It's detrimental to their overall well-being. Whatever anyone wants to perceive from that story, they can perceive. I have nothing to hide. I have no story to tell. I have no lie to give. I have no care to give.
Yeah. So you're saying you weren't posing as a doctor?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I requested to shadow some physicians. Next thing I know, cops are there. That's all I know. All I know. Have no idea.
And because Love Robinson was 17 then, police didn't reveal his name. When I first came to his clinic 3 weeks ago, I asked him if he were that teen, which he admitted, but it came as a shock to his partner, Perseus Wells, who was listening and confronted Love Robinson after I left.
I didn't know about the St. Mary's thing or anything like that until I met you, to be quite honest. And that's when I was like, hey man, what happened at St. Mary's, you know? And he explained to me, oh, you know, I was shadowing some doctors and, you know, I'm not an MD, which he had told me he wasn't an MD. He told me from the very start he wasn't an MD. You know, and they mistake that I was trying to be a medical doctor, which I wasn't. So, you know, I was like, okay, well, no medical doctor stuff here, right? Not until we hire medical doctors. And that was my...
So was Perseus Wells duped by his teenage partner, and was the state duped as well? How did that teen set up his medical clinic? Meanwhile, Love Robinson's grandfather, William McKenzie, is standing by his grandson tonight, saying Love Robinson was just trying to help people.
He felt like he was trying to do the right thing. So he wasn't trying to hide from nobody.
So you don't think your grandson should be considered a con man?
No.
Tomorrow night, go inside our exclusive interview with Malachi Love Robinson, learn about his diplomas, his financial backer, and his patients. Plus, never-before-seen moments from the revealing full-length interview. WPBF 25 News Chronicle Plain Doctor airs tomorrow night at 8.